But I want to tell you a little story. So a couple weeks ago, and it feels like it was longer, but a couple weeks ago, and of course the Democrats try to lie about this and forget about it. But I was sitting at home. It was a Sunday, and it was a rare Sunday where I was just hanging out with my 7-year-old son. I get a phone call from the president. And I answer it. He says, JD, you're never going to believe what happened. I said, President Trump, what's going on? He said, they did it again. I said, what do you mean? He said, they tried to shoot me again. And this was before it became public. It was about 1:45 in the afternoon, and he told me the story of how there was a guy hiding in the bushes who, was going to take his life, but luckily a Secret Service agent saw the gunman. They fired at him. The gunman ran off, and of course, Donald Trump's life was saved. And let's thank the brave Secret Service agents for doing their job. And I'll tell you, I never had a Secret Service detail, of course, in my life. I love these guys. They're doing a great job. But I've got just one complaint about the Secret Service, the guys on the ground who are protecting me and my family. I wish they would drive a little bit faster. So, gentlemen, I love you, but we don't have to drive Miss Daisy anymore. We can go faster than 62 miles per hour on the highway. I've got a bit of a lead foot myself, so being driven around by a bunch of guys who can't go over 65, it's getting to me. But look, so the president, I was kind of shaken up by it because, of course, he's my friend and he's my running mate. But most importantly, I think he's going to make a great next American president of the United States. But like any human being, I was worried about him. And so I said, well, sir, are you doing okay? I mean, clearly you're physically okay. You wouldn't be calling me, but are you okay? And he said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm kind of pissed off, though. And I thought he was going to say, I'm pissed off they tried to shoot me. He said, they wouldn't let me finish playing golf. I was about to make a birdie on the 6th hole. And something struck me at that moment that as much as the Democrats lie about Donald Trump, this is a man with the character to be president of the United States. And here's what I mean by this. What you want in a president of the United States is not a person who's terrified of the American media. You want a person who's willing to sit down and take some tough questions. You don't want a person who, when a terrible tragedy, even a very traumatic thing happens to them personally, you want somebody who stands up afterwards, puts their fist in the air, and says, fight, fight, fight. You want a guy who's calm, who is calm and compassionate. You remember that moment where he nearly lost his life in Butler, PA? He called for national unity, and he called for everybody to tone down the rhetoric. And when he had gotten almost shot again on his golf course in Florida, he had the wherewithal to make some jokes and to sort of reassure his buddy that he was doing okay. That is the person you want to answer the phone when a major world crisis breaks out. That is the person you want in the situation room when times are really tough. That is the person you want calling the shots in times of peace or war. You want a man who can stand in the gap, who can literally take a bullet and keep his composure and stay who he is. That's Donald J. Trump. That's why we got to make him the next president of the United States, because we need a leader in the Oval Office, not a follower like Kamala Harris. So I want to just say, and this is a message to everybody here, but especially to those who are watching. The thing that I've picked up on is there are a lot of Americans who are worried whether the American dream is still possible anymore. And I believe that it is. I wouldn't be standing here. Think about everything that's happened in my life. I was raised by a woman who didn't graduate from high school. I was raised by my grandmother because my mom struggled with opioid addiction. And I'm standing up here in this beautiful state asking you to make me your next vice president of the United States. This is a hell of a country, my friends. Don't ever forget that. All right. Y'all gonna make me blush here. I'm already red enough. It's pretty hot out here. But look, I want to speak directly to those who are worried about whether the American dream is still possible, because I know there are a lot of folks who can't afford their mortgage right now. There are a lot of folks worried about how they're going to pay for their prescription drugs. There are a lot of grandparents out there taking care of grandkids they weren't expecting to take care of. There are a lot of people who are struggling under Kamala Harris's leadership. And I just want you to know that in 32 days, we're going to change the leadership of this country, and we're going to rebuild the American dream stronger than ever. Keep faith in our country, keep faith in our people, keep faith amongst ourselves, because Kamala Harris, I'm telling you, we're going to look back at Kamala Harris as a blip in the radar, as a one brief exception to the greatest American story and the greatest America that we could ever hope for. Because Kamala Harris is not big enough to take on the United States of America. The United States of America is going to fire her, send her back to California where she belongs, and give the American people a president they deserve, and it's going to start with all of you. God bless you all. Thank you. I'm so honored to be here.